Nathan sat alone in the back row of the funeral home. His 3-year-old daughter slept against his chest. His eyes were dry. He had no tears left. His wife was gone. The room was full of people, but no one sat near him. He felt invisible. Then the door opened. A woman walked in. She wore a black dress that looked expensive. Too expensive for this small-town funeral. Her heels clicked on the floor. Every head turned. Nathan didn't look up, but she walked straight toward him. She didn't stop. She sat down right beside him. He froze. He didn't know her, but her eyes were red, like she'd been crying for days. The service ended. People filed out slowly. Nathan stood with his daughter still asleep in his arms. His back ached. His heart ached worse. The woman in the black dress didn't leave. She stayed seated, watching him. He felt her gaze. It made him uncomfortable. Finally, everyone else was gone. Just Nathan, his daughter, and this stranger. He turned to leave. "Nathan," her voice was soft, careful, like she was afraid to break him. He stopped. "I'm sorry. Do I know you?" She stood. She was tall, elegant. Everything about her screamed money and power. But her eyes were gentle, sad. "No, we've never met, but I knew your wife." His chest tightened. "I'm Juliet." The name hit him like a wave. Juliet? His wife had talked about a Juliet. Her college roommate. Her best friend.
The one who moved away and became someone important, someone successful. She talked about you. Juliet's lips trembled. "I should have come sooner. I should have visited. I was working overseas and Her voice cracked. "I'm so sorry, Nathan. I'm so sorry I wasn't here." He didn't know what to say. His daughter stirred against him. Juliet's eyes dropped to the little girl. Something in her expression changed, softened even more. "She looks just like her." Nathan nodded. "Yeah, everyone says that." Juliet took a breath. "Can we talk? Just for a few minutes?" He was exhausted. He wanted to go home, crawl into bed and forget this day ever happened. But something in her voice made him stay. "Okay." They sat back down. The funeral director gave them space. Juliet folded her hands in her lap. Her nails were perfectly manicured. Her dress probably cost more than Nathan's rent. "Your wife and I talked. A lot, even when I was far away." Nathan looked at her. "She never mentioned that." Juliet smiled sadly. "She didn't want to burden you. She knew you had enough to worry about." His throat burned. "We emailed, texted. She told me everything. About her diagnosis. About how scared she was. Not for herself. For you. For your daughter." Nathan's hands shook. He held his daughter tighter. "She was terrified of leaving you both alone." Juliet's voice dropped to a whisper. "And I made her a promise." He looked up.
"What promise?" Juliet met his eyes. "That I wouldn't let that happen." Silence filled the space between them. Nathan didn't understand. "I don't need charity," he said quietly. Juliet shook her head quickly. "That's not what this is." She leaned forward, her hands twisted together, nervous. "Nathan, I know this is going to sound insane. I know we just met, but I've thought about this every day since she died." He waited, his pulse quickened. "I want to help you raise your daughter." The words hum in the air. Nathan blinked. "What?" Juliet rushed on. "I know how it sounds, but I'm serious. I can move here. I can live with you, be a nanny, a caretaker, whatever you need, and I won't charge you anything." His mind went blank. "You're a billionaire." She flinched at the word. "Money doesn't mean anything when the people you love are gone." Nathan stood abruptly. His daughter woke and whimpered. "You can't be serious." Juliet stood too. Desperation flickered in her eyes. "I am, completely serious. Your daughter deserves a mother figure. You deserve help, and I made a promise to my best friend." Her voice broke. "Please, let me keep it." Nathan stared at her, at this stranger offering to upend her entire life, for him, for his daughter, for a promise. He didn't know if she was crazy or sincere, maybe both. But as his daughter looked up at him with sleepy eyes, asking for her mama, something inside him cracked.
"I need time to think." Juliet nodded. "Of course. Here's my number." She handed him a card. Thick, embossed, expensive. "Call me. Anytime." Then she walked away, and Nathan stood there wondering if he just imagined the whole thing. 3 days later, Juliet stood at Nathan's door with 2 suitcases. Just 2. For a billionaire, it seemed impossible, but there she was. He opened the door. "You actually came." She smiled nervously. "I don't break promises." His apartment was small. 1 bedroom for him and his daughter. A cramped living room, a kitchen barely big enough for 2 people. Juliet looked around. She didn't flinch, didn't wrinkle her nose. She just set down her suitcases and said, "It's perfect." Nathan showed her the couch. "You'll have to sleep here. I'm sorry. I can't afford anything bigger." Juliet shook her head. "Nathan, I'm not here for comfort. I'm here for her." She looked at his daughter, peeking from behind his legs. Juliet knelt down slowly. "Hi, sweetheart. My name is Juliet. I was your mama's best friend." His daughter stared with wide eyes. Then she whispered, "You knew my mama?" Juliet's smile was tender. "I did, and she loved you more than anything in the whole world." Something shifted in that moment. His daughter stepped forward, reached out her small hand. Juliet took it gently, and Nathan felt his throat tighten. The first week was awkward. Juliet didn't tell him where anything was. She burned toast. She asked 100 questions.
But she never complained. She folded herself into their tiny life like she belonged there. She woke up early with his daughter, made breakfast while Nathan got ready for work. His job at the warehouse started at 6. He hated leaving them. But Juliet would wave from the window, his daughter in her arms, both smiling. When he came home, the apartment smelled like dinner. Real dinner, not microwaved leftovers. Juliet cooked simple meals, pasta, chicken, vegetables his daughter actually ate. "How do you do that?" he asked one night. Juliet laughed. "Do what?" "Get her to eat broccoli." She grinned. "I told her it's tiny trees, and she's a giant." His daughter giggled, and Nathan realized he hadn't heard that sound in months. Weeks passed. The awkwardness faded. Juliet learned the rhythm of their life. She took his daughter to the park, read her stories, braided her hair in the mornings. Nathan would watch sometimes, the way Juliet's fingers moved so gently, the way his daughter leaned into her touch, trusting, happy. It made his chest ache. One Saturday morning, Nathan woke to laughter. He stumbled into the living room. Juliet and his daughter were dancing. Some silly kid song played on the phone. Juliet twirled her around, both of them barefoot, both of them glowing. His daughter spotted him. "Daddy, dance with us." He should have said no. He was tired, still half asleep. But Juliet looked at him, her smile so bright, so genuine. And he couldn't resist. He joined them. They danced in a cramped living room, spinning and laughing, his daughter between them. And for the first time since his wife died, Nathan felt something other than grief. He felt light. That night, after his daughter fell asleep, Nathan and Juliet sat on the couch, a respectable distance apart. They talked quietly, about everything, about nothing. She told him stories about his wife in college, wild stories, funny stories. He laughed, really laughed. Juliet watched him. "You have a nice laugh." He felt heat rise to his face. "I haven't done it much lately." She nodded. "I know, but it's good to hear." Their eyes met, held. Something unspoken passed between them. Nathan's heart beat faster. He noticed things he shouldn't, the curve of her smile, the way her hair fell across her shoulder, the warmth in her eyes. He looked away quickly. Guilt crashed over him. His wife had been gone 6 months. 6 months. It was too soon, too wrong. But when Juliet's hand accidentally brushed his, reaching for the remote, electricity shot through him, and he knew he was in trouble. If you're feeling this story, hit that like button. We're just getting started. Nathan started noticing everything. The way Juliet hummed while washing dishes, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear when she concentrated, the way she smelled like vanilla and something floral he couldn't name. He hated himself for noticing. His wife's perfume still sat on the bathroom counter, untouched. A reminder. A ghost. But Juliet was alive, warm, present, and she was making it impossible not to feel. One evening, his daughter fell asleep early, exhausted from a day at the playground. Nathan and Juliet cleaned up together, their routine now. He washed, she dried. Their arms brushed in the tiny kitchen. Once, twice, 3 times. Neither moved away. "Sorry," he mumbled. Small space. Juliet's voice was soft. "I don't mind."
He handed her a plate. Their fingers touched, lingered, just a second too long. Nathan's breath caught. He pulled away fast, focused on the soapy water. His heart hammered. This was dangerous. He knew it, but he couldn't stop. Later, they sat on the couch. A movie played, some romantic comedy Juliet picked. Nathan wasn't watching. He was too aware of her beside him. The space between them felt electric, charged. She shifted. Her leg pressed against his. She didn't move it. He didn't either. They stayed like that, touching, not talking, pretending it didn't mean anything. But it did. It meant everything. The next morning, Nathan helped his daughter with her shoes. Juliet knelt beside them. "Here, let me." Her hand covered his, guiding, teaching. Their faces were inches apart. He could see gold flecks in her eyes, could feel her breath. Time stopped. His daughter pulled away, oblivious. The moment shattered, but the feeling remained. Nathan started working late, not because he had to,
Because he needed distance, space to think, to breathe, to remind himself why this was wrong. His wife had been everything to him. Loving someone else felt like betrayal, like erasing her memory, like choosing to forget. But when he came home and saw Juliet reading to his daughter, both curled up on the couch, something in him broke. This wasn't forgetting. This was living, and he didn't know if he was allowed to do that yet. Juliet started pulling back too, he noticed. She stopped sitting so close, stopped touching him casually, stopped meeting his eyes for too long. She felt it too. He knew she did. The tension, the want, the guilt. They were both drowning in things they couldn't say. One night, his daughter asked the question that destroyed him. "Is Juliet going to be my new mama?" Nathan froze. Juliet's face went pale. "Sweetheart, His daughter looked between them with innocent hope. "I want her to stay forever." Juliet's eyes filled with tears. She stood abruptly. "I should check on laundry." She fled to the bathroom. Nathan heard the door close, heard her trying to muffle her crying. He wanted to go to her, wanted to hold her, tell her it was okay to feel, okay to want. But he couldn't move. His daughter tugged his sleeve. "Did I make Juliet sad?" He pulled her close. "No, baby, you didn't. But someone had. Maybe they both had, by wanting something they thought they couldn't have." That night, after his daughter slept, Nathan stood outside the bathroom door. Juliet was inside. He could hear her soft breathing. "Juliet?" Silence. Then, "I'm okay." She wasn't. He knew she wasn't. "We should talk." A long pause. "Not tonight, Nathan. Please." He pressed his palm against the door, wishing it was her hand instead. "Okay." He walked away, lay in his bed, stared at the ceiling. His wife's picture watched him from the nightstand. He used to talk to it, used to say goodnight. Now he couldn't look at it without feeling shame, because he was falling in love with Juliet, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. Comment below if you've ever felt something you knew you shouldn't. You're not alone. Nathan couldn't sleep. Again. It was 2 a.m. The apartment was silent except for the hum of the old refrigerator. He got up, moved quietly through the dark living room. Juliet was asleep on the couch, her face peaceful, beautiful. He forced himself to look away. He went to the closet, the one he'd avoided for months. His wife's things were still inside, boxes he couldn't bear to open. But tonight, something pulled him there. Maybe guilt, maybe desperation, maybe he needed to remember why he shouldn't feel what he was feeling. He pulled down a box, sat on the bedroom floor, opened it carefully. Inside were photos, clothes, memories that made his chest tight. Then he saw the envelope. His name written in his wife's handwriting. His hand shook. He'd never seen this before. He opened it. Inside were letters, multiple letters, all dated, all written in the months before she died. The first one was addressed to him. "My love," it began. "If you're reading this, I'm gone, and I need you to know something important." Tears blurred his vision.
He kept reading. You're going to feel guilty for living, for laughing, for moving forward. But Nathan, please don't. Life is too short and too precious to spend it punishing yourself. Our daughter needs you whole, not broken. Promise me you'll try. He wiped his eyes, kept going. There were 5 more letters, each one dated a week apart, each one filled with her thoughts, her fears, her hopes for him and their daughter. Then he found the one that stopped his heart. It was addressed to Juliet. Nathan knew he shouldn't read it. It wasn't meant for him. But his hands moved anyway. He unfolded it, and his world tilted. Juliet, my dearest friend, by now you've met Nathan and our daughter. I asked you to help them because I trust you more than anyone. But that's not the only reason. Nathan's pulse raced. I've known for years how you felt about him. You never said it. You were too loyal, too good. But I saw it. The way you looked at him at our wedding. The way you stopped visiting after our daughter was born.
You stayed away because you loved him, and you thought loving him made you a bad person. It doesn't. Nathan couldn't breathe. Juliet, I'm dying, and I'm terrified of leaving them alone. But I realized something. If anyone is going to love my husband after I'm gone, I want it to be you. I want someone who will love him the way I do. Someone who will love our daughter like she's their own. You're that person. Tears streamed down his face. So I'm giving you permission, both of you. If you fall in love, don't fight it. Don't let guilt stop you. Nathan will try. He'll think loving again means forgetting me. Tell him it doesn't. Tell him I want him happy. I want our daughter to have a mother. And if that mother is you, then I'll rest peacefully knowing they're cared for. The letter continued. If you love him, Juliet, let yourself. Life is too short for regrets. And love, real love, is too rare to waste. Be happy, both of you. That's all I want. That's my last wish. It was signed with her name and a heart. Nathan sat frozen. The letter shook in his hands. Everything he thought he knew shattered. His wife knew. She knew about Juliet's feelings, knew and didn't hate her, wanted this, wanted them. Another paper slipped from the envelope, smaller, folded tight. He opened it. Just one line. Nathan, if you found this, it means you're feeling something for Juliet.
Stop fighting it. I chose her for you. Trust me one last time. He broke, completely. Sobs tore from his chest. Months of grief, guilt, confusion, all of it poured out. He didn't hear Juliet wake up, didn't hear her footsteps, but suddenly she was there, in the doorway, eyes wide. Nathan? She saw the letters in his hands, saw her name on one. Her face went white. What is that? He looked up at her, tears streaming, and held up the letter. Did you know? Juliet's face crumbled, and he had his answer. Hit subscribe. You need to see what happens next. Juliet stood frozen in the doorway, her eyes locked on the letters in Nathan's shaking hands. Did you know? His voice was raw, broken. Did you know she wrote these? Juliet's lips trembled. She didn't answer. Nathan stood, the letters crumpled in his fist. Answer me, Juliet. Did you know what she wanted? Is that why you came here? Nathan, her voice cracked. Is that why you're doing all of this? He stepped closer. Anger and pain twisted together. Are you here because you actually care? Or because you're fulfilling some dying wish? Juliet flinched, like he'd slapped her. That's not fair. Fair? Nathan laughed bitterly. Nothing about this is fair. My wife is dead, and apparently she orchestrated this whole thing before she died, like we're characters in some story she wrote. She didn't orchestrate anything. Juliet's voice rose, defensive, hurt.
She just knew? Knew what? He threw his hands up. That you had feelings for me?
That you'd swoop in and play house after she was gone? Tears spilled down Juliet's cheeks. Stop it! How long? Nathan demanded. How long have you felt this way? Juliet shook her head, backed away. I can't do this. How long, Juliet? Years! The word exploded from her. Years, okay? I've loved you for years. Since before you got married. Since before everything. Her whole body shook. I met you at her birthday party. Do you even remember? You smiled at me, and I felt it. That stupid, impossible thing people talk about, love at first sight. Nathan stared at her, speechless. But you loved her, and she was my best friend, so I buried it. I stayed away. I moved across the world, because being near you hurt too much. Juliet's voice broke completely. I missed her wedding, her baby shower, everything, because I couldn't stand watching you love someone else. Juliet. Then she got sick. Fresh sobs tore through her, and she called me, told me everything, begged me to come help you after. And I said no at first. I said I couldn't. But she kept asking, kept saying you'd need someone. Juliet sank against the wall. She told me she knew about my feelings, that she'd always known. And she said she forgave me, that there was nothing to forgive. Nathan's anger crumbled. His heart shattered. She made me promise I wouldn't let you be alone, that I'd take care of your daughter. And I said yes because I loved her. And because, Juliet looked at him with devastated eyes, because I still loved you, even after all those years, even knowing I shouldn't. Silence filled the apartment, heavy, suffocating. So yes, Nathan, I came here because of her promise, but I stayed because of them. She pointed toward his daughter's room. Because that little girl deserves someone who will love her unconditionally. And because you, her voice dropped to a whisper, you deserve to be happy again. Nathan's hand shook. This isn't about what I deserve. Then what is it about? Juliet stepped forward. Your guilt? Your loyalty to a ghost? Her words were harsh, but her tone was gentle. She's gone, Nathan, and she wanted us to live, both of us. I can't just stop feeling guilty. I'm not asking you to. Tears streamed down her face. I carry guilt every single day for loving you, for being here, for wanting things I have no right to want. She took a shuddering breath. But I'm tired, Nathan. I'm tired of pretending I don't feel what I feel. He stared at her. This woman who'd given up everything, who'd loved him from a distance for years, who'd walked into his broken life and made it whole again. What are you saying? His voice barely a whisper. Juliet met her eyes, vulnerable, terrified, brave. I'm saying I love you. I've always loved you, and I don't know what to do about it anymore. The confession hung between them, everything they'd been avoiding, everything they'd been too scared to say, finally spoken out loud. Nathan took a step toward her, then stopped. His heart and his head at war. What happened next would change everything. Drop a like if your heart is racing right now. Nathan stood there, Juliet's confession still echoing in his ears. She loved him, had always loved him, and his wife had known, had wanted this. The weight of it crushed him and freed him at the same time. Juliet. His voice was barely audible. She looked at him with red, swollen eyes, waiting, terrified. He took a breath. I've been so angry at myself, at the world, at God for taking her from us. His throat tightened, and then you showed up, this stranger who fit into our lives like you'd always been there. Juliet's breath hitched. I tried not to notice, tried not to feel. He stepped closer, but you made it impossible. The way you loved my daughter, the way you made breakfast and danced in the living room and braided her hair like it was the most important thing in the world. His voice cracked. The way you looked at me, like I wasn't broken. Nathan, I'm falling in love with you, Juliet. The words spilled out, raw, honest, and it terrifies me. Because I thought loving someone else meant forgetting her, meant betraying everything we had. Tears streamed down both their faces now. But she knew. Nathan held up the letters, his hands trembling. She knew better than I did. She knew that love doesn't replace love, it just grows. He moved closer, within arm's reach now. She chose you. For us. For our daughter. For me. Juliet covered her mouth, sobs shaking her shoulders. I've been fighting this for weeks, hating myself every time I wanted to touch you, every time I noticed how beautiful you are, every time I wished you'd stay forever. He reached out, hesitated, then gently took her hand. But I'm done fighting. Are you sure? Juliet's voice was barely a whisper. Because I can't do this if you're not sure. If you're going to regret it tomorrow. Nathan shook his head. The only thing I regret is wasting time we could have spent being honest. He brought her hand to his chest, over his racing heart. I love you, Juliet. I love you for being here, for keeping your promise, for loving my daughter like she's yours. She feels like mine, Juliet whispered. I know. Nathan's other hand came up, cupped her face gently. And that's exactly what my wife wanted. For our daughter to have a mother who chose her, who stayed. I'll always stay. The promise fell from her lips. I'm not going anywhere. Nathan smiled through his tears. Good.